We are recording, and now I gotta pull up my notes because I would not know what to do if I didn't have my notes. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the Dominion, the Krieg Dominion, to be more clear. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for tonight's events, this 19th episode of Second Star, a Traveler 2300 Role-Playing Experience, Season 2, entitled Wilds. And on that note, we could potentially have a season finale tonight, depending on how far we make it. There is talk of possibly ending a little bit early for personal reasons, but let's just see how things go from here. I am the storyteller, the game master, the referee, whatever term you like to use, and with me, of course, are my three players, Charles, Wiggles, and Thurgor. So let's take a moment to check in with them to see how things are going for them over the last week or so. And while they're doing that, I am not petting some face huggers from last night. Charles, what's new with you, man? What's going on?
Not much. Actually, I was just telling Milligan, I got tomorrow and Friday off for medical reasons. I got to go see the doc for old age stuff, and
Old age
that's
stuff, such a wide open genre.
So, internal checkups and some funness with the stomach and stuff like that. I'll just let your imagination run.
Oh, you don't want my imagination running around.
Yeah.
That's how the events that are planned for tonight get put into place.
Right. Anyhow, not much else is new. Actually, I should say this: we had something weird happen in my neighborhood.
Oh.
So, I belong. Oh yeah. Oh, it was. I'm chuckling at it now, but it was.
Oh, this was an
awkward.
epic weirdness, not just a weirdness, but an epic one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we belong to a milk delivery company. That come by and once a week they come by and drop off milk and other grocery stuff that we select out of them, and they gave us a cute little box and right, regional brand, and everything couldn't fit in the box, so they left it in a red bag.
Okay.
We had a porch pirate come by and steal a red bag, and then I'm going through the order as I'm putting it all away when I got home tonight. And I'm like, oh, them sons of a guns. They stole 5 pounds of potatoes, 2 pounds of bananas, 3 lemons, and a loaf of bread. I hope they enjoy their sandwich.
Well, they definitely made off with some half decent stuff, because all of that stuff can be definitely used to enhance what otherwise would be a normal meal. However,
Right.
Yeah, that's just some bullshit right there. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
Why would you do that to your fellow man?
Right, I'm out $20, which is annoying at a point, but at the same time, it's just like
it's only 20
at least
bucks.
It's only $20, and what's even funnier was like we were expecting some Amazon deliveries anyways, and a delivery that from a company that begins with F and ends in X. And,
I don't know who you're talking about. I definitely don't work for them.
But anyhow, short version is they raided us at crack of dawn this morning and then missed. Well, they would have gotten clothes and books, which would have been even more hilarious. But porch pirates and porch pirates, and they're not. To quote one of my coworkers, there are some people in the world that are just like a pair of flint rocks being bashed together, and are that bright in a 60-watt world.
A literal flash in the pan on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good. I'm out.
All right. Wiggles, what do you got for us? What's new and exciting in your neck of the woods?
Rain.
Well, that's not new or exciting, unless you enjoy the rain. But you live in the desert, so rain is potentially exciting.
Well, this storm has killed, I think about 5 or 10 people now.
Ooh.
So, not great.
Exciting in the absolute opposite end of positivity. Exciting in the, oh my god, we're going to die. Well, I probably shouldn't make too many jokes about it.
Yeah, no, we're fine, but the storm California experiencing is really bad.
You know what? I totally did not put the two items together and come up with a solid, cohesive storyboard. But yeah, no, I forgot all about it. I have heard bits and pieces of a lot of rain down in California. My son the other day, my oldest one, mentioned a few nights back that they had lost power. Again, I'm not putting all these things together. It's not like I have a conspiracy board with red yarn connecting various thumbtacks, but Yeah, no,
The last time I checked on it, 600,000 people lost power during the storm so far.
yeah, that's wild. And this has been going for like almost a week now, has it not?
Sunday started Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, so 4 days. Okay,
Yeah.
that's still rough though. Like no matter where you are in the world, if you just can't handle that volume of water falling out of the sky, you are fucked. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm taking, take all the bullshit out of it. Like if you've got, wow, I barely made 5 minutes before I started dropping big words. Um, but yeah, no matter where you are, like a certain volume is just too much. Water falling out of the sky will do rain things. So flooding, power issues, contaminations, etc. It's rough. But you guys are doing okay for the most part. Is what
We're
I'm hearing.
fine. We're wet. We're fine.
We're wet.
I'm not looking forward to the electrical bill because the heater's been on almost 24/7 since Sunday.
So the temperatures dropped significantly.
Well, water just takes heat away, so if you're
Yeah,
getting any kind of heat.
yeah, that makes sense. I hear you. Well, hopefully, not to make a pun, I really don't mean to make a joke, but hopefully you're able to weather this storm and come out all right at the end of it. I don't know how much more of it is out there because, again, several points of information that I have not connected, so I have no idea. I've not looked into any news reports or weather forecasts or anything like that, but hopefully there won't be much more of it.
It was supposed to end sometime today, but today's still going very strong.
Well,
my brother wanted to go to the game store today up in Tehachapi, but the store owners got snowed into their house.
Oof. Yeah, this storm system's doing weird shit like all around. Like rain, I imagine rain in low ends, the lower elevations, and snow at the higher elevations. I know you're in a mountainous area, are you not? I feel like
2020. Where are we quitting? 2400. The elevation. You just looked it up, like 20. We're little. You just oh my god, whatever. We're high up. We're the high desert.
Yeah, gotcha. Anything else, Wiggles, or shall I?
2,700.
2,700.
No, that's all. Just spreading the electrical bill, but that's all.
Well, hopefully everything works out in your favor. Thurgor, my sometimes referred to as a dental advisor, sometimes referred to, even nowadays, as the intern. How are things for you, my friend?
Okay, number one, has it not been like a year at this point?
You know what? Actually,
Getting pretty close.
No, actually, I looked this up the other day. I don't remember what made me think about it, but I actually looked this up. Second Star premiered on Twitch on February 16th. Okay. Because on February 17th is the day it went live on YouTube, the very first episode. So we are at literally just under a year. About 10 days, depending on when exactly you look at the calendar.
And I don't remember which episode I came in on.
No, you did come in
7,
like
9, somewhere like that.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, yeah. But yeah, it's funny that you brought that up because I actually wanted to mention that and had almost forgotten about it until you said that. But anyway, please. And listen, interns, you know what? We could do it the MC way, where you're here for a year and then we vote whether or not we get to keep you.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that vote will go through.
No,
anyway, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
Oh, nothing much. We did get one doctor to finally sign for half of the time that we have open. I interviewed another one the other day. I've got another interview tomorrow. Hopefully one of those two is going to take the other half of the time, and we will finally be set.
They're going to split the half of the time that you've already got one person committed to.
Yep, they're going to do month on, month off, and they're going to alternate. So.
Oh, that's what you. Oh, they're going to do month on, month off, but it'll be the same month.
Right.
I'm being facetious.
Not the same month. No, yeah. So actually, I get a real vacation. It's just not very long. I'm going home this weekend, and I'll be there all week next week, which is why I'm iffy. Arkansas.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm taking my computer and everything. So chances are next Wednesday will be fine, but there's the off chance that I may be whisked away somewhere, or who knows what. So we'll see.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, we'll figure it out as we go, as far as that's concerned. But obviously, getting time home with family and friends is pretty important too. Don't let our little game get in the way of that.
Well, again, I think everybody knows at this point. I reached out to Matt at Mongoose and asked him once
Yeah.
again about Invasion, and he actually had something positive to
I
say.
saw
So,
that, and I
yeah,
definitely
so
wanted
they're
to comment, but my comment was definitely going to be something snarky towards you, and an indirect reference to our campaign. And I realized that was probably not the best place, because that was a kind of a not necessarily an official forum, but definitely that was like meant mostly for asking questions about the
Yeah.
product line, not for people to talk shit to each other. Which is exactly like I would be like, oh, look at that. Thorgo's trying to find out more about when I'm going to actually start running a real campaign.
No, I love the campaign that we're doing. I miss Invasion. I ran Invasion for years back in the day,
I know.
and I
I
loved
actually,
it. So,
I was actually thinking about potential direction for season 3, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we're at that point where season finale could conceivably happen tonight, but probably next session. And thinking of the next arc for the next major arc for season 3, do I follow the Empire of Mankind, or do we finally get into the actual invasion bits with stuff more French arm centric? And I think I'm leaning more French arm, because that was where I wanted to be more or less for the whole time anyway. But certain production cues were adjusted over time. I think that's the politest way I could possibly say it.
Blame the writer's strike.
Is that what was there actually a writer's strike, or was that for TV?
It was for TV.
Okay. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to tell when, like, I know when I'm being sarcastic, but I can't always pick up on others. Thurgor, I feel like I took a little bit of your airtime there, but so please,
No,
if
that's
there's anything
fine.
else.
Last thing, I've offered this to you before.
Yeah.
If you want to jumpstart into Invasion, I'd be happy to work with you about making appropriate stat blocks.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
and if you don't have a copy of that original
I
or
do,
a
actually.
version since then, yeah,
I
have the very original one.
So the publications I have are the French Arm Adventures, which has some stuff on Aurora regarding pre-invasion.
Right.
I want to say it's like Kefir Dawn and other related scenarios. And then I have the actual invasion from oh god, help me out, GDW, because there's a big difference between GW and GDW.
Yep.
One tends to have a lot of wah going on, the other one doesn't. That was a joke to the Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40K universes, by the way. And orcs in particular. But yeah, so I have the actual invasion, and I have I want to say the publication is called Station Artur, which is where they go and figure out what the actual fuck happened at the Artur station before the actual, I believe before the invasion of Aurora, and then later the actual invasion. So I definitely have some wheels spinning in the back of the brain. I cannot promise how fast they're going, or if they're even going in reverse at this point, but they are spinning.
Alrighty.
Anything else?
Well, let's figure out who's going to die.
Okay, yeah, because off stream, right before we started, you did say something about there might be some people dying, but let's get into it. Previously on Second Star, we get something of a montage of crew working around the Iron Jolly as cargo and supplies are being loaded and secured. We see the Thorez-class courier taxiing out onto a runway, flaring its engines to full power and rushing off, and then nosing up the moment it lifts off, retracting landing gear and going vertical, soaring up into the heavens. And then once in space, it begins its movement towards the outer edges of the system, and then eventually, ultimately, disappears from sight because it requires light, and now it's moving faster than light. We see it reappear and then maneuver in for a smooth, buttery docking approach at the space station over a largely green and white world. And we see a moment of two people that we can recognize as Helwig and Gray as they float through the interior of a space station. Excuse me, a shot of Gray doing finger guns back at Helwig as they appear to race and somehow keep from colliding with everyone. And then lastly, we see the Iron Jolly as it breaks through the atmosphere of another Earth-like world, descending down towards the surface of that planet. And at the bottom left of the screen, We see the date, 1500 hours on the 18th of February, 2298. And on the right side bottom, we see the words Beta Canum Venaticorum System. And I want to point out that I've constantly referred to the bottom of the screen, whether it's left or right, as to where the dates are and where the location is. And on the stream, it's actually at the top. And I don't know if that was ever intentional or if that was just a goof, but I've just rolled with it. Secondly, I could not get Beta Canum Venaticorum all to fit on one line without changing the font size. So I said, fuck it. We're going to call it the Beta Canum system for now. At any rate, you guys have a few minutes, a moment, a scene, if you will. Your ship is currently in the last stages of touching down on the surface of Beta Canum at New Middlesex, which is the starport that you'll be landing at. As you recall from your mission to Beta Canum in the first place, you were going to arrive here at New Middlesex, and then you were going to transport the cargo that Tankerson sent with you over to a place called Bayview, which was going to require overground transit. You have a moment, if you like, to do any scenes, do any prep, do any planning before you touch down. And we can call this taking place, before you begin your final descent. So you're still pretty high up in the atmosphere, but you are in the atmosphere. And local gravity has subsumed. Resumed. Whatever.
And what is it here?
It's actually a good question. I meant to take note of that and I forgot. But I did make a map of the planet. So give me just a second here. Gravity is... The gravity here is 0.94. And while we're doing that, let me go ahead and put this map down so you have a visual reference of the planet. And somebody do me a favor. Can one of y'all grab the little blue marker thingy and move it out of my way? Thanks. I see it. All right, there you go. All right, so there's your planet. And then I'll just take this guy.
No.
He does not need to go in the drawer. Why are you taking my dice and putting them in the drawer? Give me that back. Need that.
Because they're bad dice.
You're bad dice. Get out of here. Fucking jackass.
I jumped up on people.
Wow, you just tossed my dice, dude. Give me those. Get out of here. Yeah, so, as you can see on the marker here, you guys are touching down at the New Middlesex. Technically, this is a spaceport to the left of it, so I guess technically that's where you are, and they have a city named New Middlesex. I don't know if they're actually adjacent to each other or if there is actually 1,000 kilometers between them, but for our argument's sake, you are at the starport outside New Middlesex, and it is a 1,000-kilometer journey to the place, to the city of Bayview. And you have a moment before you actually touch down, if you guys would like to talk amongst yourselves about anything in particular, perhaps ideas of what you're going to do once you touch down, or how you're going to punch Thurgor in the back of the head for putting such a big bullseye on himself and by association the rest of you.
Nobody here is going to even recognize this.
Okay. Okay. News does radiate outward, right?
All right, so what's the law level here?
That's, you know what? It's in the UPP on the map.
It's in the UPP.
Oh.
You're the UPP.
I can't just read
it. It is...
it's the sixth one, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the
2,
sixes.
3, 4,
it's one of
5,
those
6.
sevens, most likely.
Yeah, it's a 7. I just can't remember what that means off the top of my head.
You'd have to look it up. I'm not going to look it up right this second. Probably wandering around with open carry firearms is probably not good, though. I do have the book open, but I'd actually have to I'd have to find the page for that answer. Although, actually, that wouldn't be terribly difficult. Give me just a moment. I can do that. As soon as I remember the difference here. Let's see. This one, and then... zoomed page. Disable scrolling so I can just back page down once or twice. World and universe creation. Oh, this does not give very great descriptions of the law levels when we get to that. But
it's law level 7.
Shotguns are banned. All firearms except shotguns and stunners. Basically, all you can carry bladed weapons, and that's about it.
Yep, bladed weapons and stunners.
Yeah. I will add a storyteller. What the fuck is my title in this game? God damn it. Game
GM.
Master. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I played Alien last night, so technically I'm the game mother. Now I don't know if I'm the
Ew.
game. Like, travelers use game master, referee, and then there's storyteller for others. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm going to hand wave and say that most likely once you're outside of, like, city or perhaps even county limits, you know, if you are out in the open wilds, that the law level probably drops. And probably not even necessarily officially, but just because there's not going to be a lot of people out in the woods walking around screaming things like, game warden, you have to pay attention to me now. I don't mean that as a knock on, but I do know there are a lot of people that wish I just did.
Well,
Anyways, please, gentlemen, take it away with your various characters and the handful of NPCs you have on the ship.
Take it away, take it away, take it away now.
All right,
you
Anthony
know,
Kiedis.
Helwig is kind of like confused. He forgets kind of what the plan was when we're coming to this place. And well, that's right. We're picking up some stuff for the boss man, and then we're gonna try to get out of here.
You're bringing
delivering
stuff from the boss man to his, effectively to his warehouse. However,
Right.
Bayview does not have a star port, so what has been the traditional norm is that you land at the new Middlesex spaceport, and then you ferry it across the rest of the way, you know, like in semi-trucks or something.
That's right. It's a road trip again in a fun vehicle.
You're having flashbacks and not very good ones about rolling around on a frozen, dusty world, huh?
All I'm saying is let's leave the lights off as we go through tunnels.
I leave just enough light on to see safely driving.
Right.
I feel like, you know what, if you actually want to have that conversation with one of your compadres, by all means. Otherwise, we can move on if the quorum agrees.
I'm just gonna mention it that hey, let's just pay attention to where we have to drive to and what we have to drive to, because I don't want to see any scary things, and I don't know what's native life here, and unsettling images from the last scary planets.
So Beta Canum has a beanstalk. It has at least 3
vegetables.
major colonial efforts, mostly by the British, the French, and the Germans. They have a number of relatively large cities, so the population on this planet, I believe, is 6. Because I'm trying to go off memory which number is the population code. It's not 6, it's 7, and we all know each digit is equivalent to 10 in a number, so 6 or 7 digits is going to be in the hundreds of thousands, pushing millions. So this is a fairly well-populated planet, although I will also make a further argument that there is plenty of open real estate all across the planet that is, untamed, marginally or nominally charted, not been developed or even explored for the most part, which you will find. I imagine, I'll give you this piece of information just because I imagine somebody would have thought to do a little bit of read ahead as far as your mission parameters. You're flying into New Middlesex, and then you're driving 1,000 kilometers, which is the equivalent of about 600 miles, give or take, about a 10-hour drive, assuming normal driving conditions here. You're going to be out in the open end of nowhere. Like, in modern parlance, it'd be like there's probably limited cell phone coverage. If you run into a problem on the road, you're at least a few hours away from help. It's like driving in the backwoods of Canada.
Yeah, that are the I-10 in those strips between San Diego and Yuma, where it says last gas station is 600 miles away.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I have prepped that, narratively speaking, there are a couple of towns along the way, because that makes sense that there would be some people trying to get away from the big city, and then, people trying to make, like, farmland, and so they would have, like, small communities. So you'll be able to fuel up along the way, and there's a couple of rest stops and all that. But ultimately, it's wide open terrain country, wild country, thus the name of the title, or the name of the show, Wilds. A lot of it's unexplored, untouched, nominally charted. So There is a diverse. I want to say there's a diverse biosphere, if that's the right word. But I didn't actually look in to see what's here. So, but for all intents and purposes, just imagine an Earth-like planet with a lot less people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the FTL flight to this planet, knowing its high law level, Wyatt would have taken time to breaking down his pistol and ordered to hide it in his assistive exoskeleton.
So you've got little panels where you can grab like 3 or 4 things, and then boom, you have a pistol.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like yeah. So when they X-ray me or whatever, and they see I'm wearing an exoskeleton, which
Makes sense.
I have a medical need for, they'll just see like, huh, more metal crap.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. That really looks an awful lot like a pistol grip right there. Huh. It's just a panel. Huh. That's weird. Nothing to be worried about here. Oh, look at that. That cylinder right there. Looks. Why does it have rifling on the inside of the inside surface of that cylinder?
I mean, it's not like impossible to detect.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I were to go to DCU, it'd probably be like 14 or something like that. But
yeah, this is
or depending upon how well my mechanics roll does.
yeah. I feel like this is not one of those like this is not a smuggling rig, but I'm definitely gonna try to sneak. And obviously, if I know I'm about to go through like legit scanners, I'm probably just gonna leave the shit on the ship.
It's a little baby pistol. It's okay. They'll only kill one person.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I think Hellwig's just going to be like, I'm going to be okay with that. Otherwise, just making sure, working with the crew to get the. Oh, we're going to probably have to rent a truck out there, aren't we? Because there's no truck on this thing. So yeah, making plans on how to get the truck and figure out how to get the cargo out.
Okay. You do have a point of contact that you were supposed to reach out to when you touched down. By the way, Marco Jacoby.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He will be your point man for you to interface with once you land. This was in your mission brief packet as well. Contact information, stuff like that. Of course, since arriving in the Beta Canum system, you have not yet received any messages from him. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Obviously, that could mean one of about 100 different.
We would probably start. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I said we would probably start trying to contact him before we even descend.
Yeah.
So that hopefully he'd be waiting there for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are not getting anything back throughout your descent, just so you know.
Okay.
Barring that, unless there's anything else, which by all means, please, we can move on to where you actually touch down and etc.
That's fine. Milligan's busy landing the Jolly, so.
Okay. No rolls needed because I'm just gonna narratively say you made it down just fine. One thing, there's a couple things you will notice, however. One, if you recall, towards the end of our last episode, you noticed that some spacecraft seem to be following incredibly similar trajectories from the edge of the system into the main planet, indicating that they had more or less, not necessarily that they were following you, but they were definitely heading more or less to the same place. I don't recall now off the top of my head. I want to say there was a cargo liner, a passenger liner, and a yacht. I might be wrong. I know the yacht was there because the yacht definitely was registered as the Firehawk. That definitely showed up on any sensors scan, etc. But I will say this: the Firehawk did not break off for the Beanstalk, but the other two ships, the passenger liner and the cargo ship, definitely did. The Firehawk is still in orbit as you made your deorbit and descent. However, you probably would have picked up an interface craft leaving the Firehawk and heading down. And from what you can read in the sensors as you're paying attention during this process, is that they are landing probably about an hour-ish ahead of you. Just based on information, communication with traffic control. Because, I would imagine similar to air traffic control, as they have multiple aircraft coming in at various points, that any one of those aircraft probably has an idea of which aircraft are ahead of them, behind them, and possibly even to the side. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So you'll notice, of course, like I said, it's a Termfalk space plane. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's basically just a space plane. It's literally to convey passengers and some cargo back and forth from surface to orbit. And then, like I said, the other two craft broke off for the Beanstalk, which, as a point of fact, the Beanstalk has a 5-day one-way trip from ground to station or station to ground, in case that ever comes up ever again. That was not meant as like a red herring
That's
sort of
right.
thing. It really
In case
wasn't.
y'all all die.
No, that was like literally just as a point of reference for anybody that was curious, like, why didn't we land at the Beanstalk and then ride the shit down? Well, it's a 5-day fucking trip one way. It's 10 days round trip. That's a waste of time. You can just land the ship. And that's exactly why. No joke, I was not trying to imply anything else, although now I kind of wish I had.
No, it's fine. We understand.
Yeah. No red herrings were harmed in the making of this episode. As you touch down and you land and you begin taxiing off the runway towards your berth, a small crowd starts to form around the bay to which you have been assigned. There is only about 1 in 10 people that appear to be the starport crew responsible for like refueling and repairs and all that craziness. The remainder, the other 9 of the 10, Jesus Christ, the rest of those 9 of every 10 is a bunch of people that are familiar with the ship and its crew, and that the crowd is quickly growing to like, there's probably easily 100 people outside that berth waiting for you to finish parking. The Termfalk is touched down on a pad, probably like 2 pads over from you guys. So not adjacent, but they're like 2 thingies away, 2 little whatever you want, 2 corridors away or whatever. Let's see. Yeah, you've touched down, you've parked. You have arrived, and you go through your shutdown sequence and everything else, and there is a crowd of about 100 people or so around the ship, and they all seem to be happy to see you.
That's a nice welcome change of pace.
They're gonna be really disappointed in a minute.
Are they like carrying anything? Or are they just watching us come out of the?
There are people ranging in age from small children to middle to late ages, like not middle to old age. There's even a couple of people in wheelchairs being pushed around by what appear to be some form of retirement home staff. You would probably easily get the impression that these people, seeing the Iron Jolly arrive, is not necessarily a once in a lifetime experience, because otherwise there'd be like a lot more people, but there are a lot of people that are happy to see it. And there's a few that are like out there acting as though they have been here, they have done this before. Be like, yeah, any minute. You can't hear what they're saying, but you could tell from their body language that there's probably saying something like, any minute now they're going to come out and blah, 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 blah. Like, these people are legit happy to see you. There doesn't seem to be any sort of threatening presence.
So I'm gonna basically like look at Wyatt and go, what sort of shenanigans do we get into again?
We're just delivering cargo. Like, this is weird.
We're just space truckers. Why is everybody following us?
They're like, this is like the arrival of the Swifties when last time they traveled.
Way to stay culturally relevant while saying that.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. Where's the person? You talk to the guy about fuel and stuff. Anyway, do you see him in the crowd, or just?
There's a couple.
I see is
sorry, go ahead.
People. All I see is people and more people.
Go ahead and make a recon intelligence for me there, Helwig.
Alrighty,
Hellwig.
hang on.
Yeah, Helwig. Roll them fucking bones.
I'm rolling.
6.
That would be a 6. Mod recon, where are you on my sheet? Is a 1. That's a 7 with an intelligence of a 1. So that's a 8.
All right, you see the ground crew. They have already started moving up to the ship, but they are also kind of sitting towards. I forget where exactly on the Thor is, but I imagine. Oh, there's a cargo ramp underneath the main body,
Yep.
towards the back end. I mean, pointed forward, but it's towards the back end. There's a couple of crew techs sitting out there, like just waiting. Like, okay, well, eventually they're going to open this fucker because they have to come out. They can't just sit here. On
Right.
the I guess for lack of a better thing to call it, on the security cameras or whatever, you see they're milling about and they're like, one dude's actively got his arm up looking at his wrist as if to count how long it's going to take before you open it up, or maybe he's saying, listen, I'm paid by the hour, take your fucking time.
Oh, yeah, that's very going to cut in our profit levels.
Well, not
I'm okay.
go ahead.
I say, again, I look over at White. I'm okay. If you want to crack the doors, you know, uh, right. If they take the boat, they take the boat, man.
I want to be clear
I'm just
before you
stepping up.
these people are gathered around the ship, but they are not
Yeah.
like standing next to the tech. Like there's about 100 to 200 feet of gap between where the tech crews are standing in front of your ship and where these people are milling about, waiting for their glimpse
Oh, okay.
to see you.
Gotcha.
There's almost like there's some sort of invisible barrier, not literally, but as if there is one, some sort of invisible barrier. Like they know they can't cross this line because it's unsafe, and they will be held back.
Right.
There's probably markings on the concrete. Right? Don't cross this line. Authorized personnel only. Every now and again somebody steps forward and
Yeah.
some random security guy's like, get back, please. Probably not quite so rudely, but the baton hasn't come out yet, so there's that.
Right. I'm on board.
Since I have this beautiful map. Anyway, yeah, please. How do you want to do this?
I look over at Wyatt. Open the doors.
Well, they're probably just, whatever. We've got stuff to do. They're probably whatever. Like if they touch hot stuff that burn their hands, it's not our fault.
Okay. All right.
That's a fair point.
Obviously, they're not allowed on the ship, so I don't know. Maybe we should put one arrow or someone on our main throwaway just to stop curious people.
I will point out there are a number of security personnel out, but there's also it's probably like 3 or 4 people kind of spread out. It's 100 people in the crowd. If they get rushed, they're fucked. But they
Right.
seem to be professionally holding the crowd at bay. They're excited, and every now and again, like I said, one of the security guys has to kind of step up and get loud for a second. But after that, they're back to being calm, professional. However, if you want to put one of your armsmen or somebody on sentry duty at the cargo ramp, by all means. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your ship.
I was going to move Milo into the cargo hold itself and have Milo just post up on top of the cargo for now until
with
we
his
find
little
somebody
laser tail like a scorpion cat.
Well, it's all in the you can't even see it. It's just part of his tail.
I like how you're like trying to make it sound cute when he's really just a violent murder ball.
But he does also have syringes in his front paws, but it's not loaded with anything.
Yeah, you could still give somebody an embolism.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Why are you giving him ideas?
God damn it, you're right. You're right. I'm so sorry.
No, that's perfect.
I'm so sorry. It's sterilized air. It's just sterilized air. That's all. He can't hurt anybody. Have you heard of this thing called an embolism?
And if there was no objections from our chief of security, I was going to have Chip stay on the ramp. I don't want him touching his feet on the ground. Because that may cause problems.
Yeah. As a point in clarity, I think legally speaking, anything between the ship and the safety cordon of like 100 feet around it is
Counts as our ship.
legally the ship
Okay, good.
property. I don't like, and I think that's where the legal distinctions from one planet or port to the next would be different. There's a
Okay.
certain minimum amount that would have to be considered ship property for the ship's safety.
Right. All right. So in that case, I'm not going to change because I would have been wearing my vac suit and it is armored. But
Just
I'm
gonna
going to
leave the
leave the
helmet in the
ship.
cockpit.
I'm just going to carry it with me. Because I don't have Betty. You know, that would look funny if I came out strapped with the
Yeah,
biggest
security
laser
would
rifle they
definitely have
make.
some questions.
I'd still be okay. But whatever. I will strap my cutlass on just for the flair.
Flair. Oh, dear
No,
Lord.
what he's
And
really
I'm gonna
doing.
wander
Well,
out.
I'm gonna hold that card in my pocket for a moment. That's definitely going to change things slightly.
I'm going to wander out and see if I can't find the chief of the ground crew.
Yeah.
And ask him, has he heard anything from Marco lately? He was supposed to be our contact here. We tried to raise him before we came in.
I don't know any Marco, man, but here he holds out a tablet. It's like, here, just check off these last couple of blocks here for what you need. You know, gas, oil change, wash the
Yep.
windows. Do your wiper blades need replacing? He's joking, obviously, because none of these things are listed.
All that's on there is fuel.
Yeah, fuel, life support, restocking.
Maybe life support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll check off those boxes.
Yeah.
Get us refitted for our flight home. Fuel us up.
And
I'd
then also,
say-
there's a addendum for cargo handling that is actually several pages long and is meant to be filled out by whoever your, I'm sure there's probably a more better term, but like whoever your master cargo handler is. In this case, it would be Wyatt.
Okay. So
This would be so the ground crew knows what cargo is coming off, what cargo is staying on, how is it identified, where is it located, what is the cargo, because usually there's a customs inspection somewhere along the way.
right, but we didn't have one of those, right? Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, because you didn't. The only we definitely glossed over the cargo or the customs inspection that didn't happen at Kilimanjaro, and I didn't put one in my notes, but I meant to. So there's going to be some sort of customs interaction for the cargo coming off the craft.
What happened in Kilimanjaro as far as cargo goes? Because I don't recall. Did we sell everything we had?
Sold some and didn't buy some, I think.
Okay.
I did buy some. I bought some. I bought another I bought another D-ton worth of other random shit.
Okay.
He's got the notes. I know he does. I just forgot to look when I prepped. My prep for this week, both this show and Alien, was a bit rushed because my son was here, and I just ended up running out of time. So kind of had to not necessarily slap things together, but it was not my best prep session.
So does this chief not question us about, the crew, that maybe we're not who they expected, or maybe they're not expecting anybody, and just these people know
that's
something?
A fair point. When you come off,
right.
So let me ask this question first off, because obviously we have the cargo ramp descending.
Yeah, it's down. I would have walked down.
And Chip is posted maybe at the apex. Keep people, to give people a chance to back off before they get all the way onto the ship.
Chip will step all the way down to the very edge of the ramp. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if he's allowed to get off the ramp, then he'll probably be standing on the ground at the end of the ramp. So.
Again, that gray area of what is and what isn't ship's property. So he'd probably be right at the edge. Maybe a step or two onto the actual tarmac, but nobody's going to make a big stink about it for obvious reasons. You're within that minimum, like, do not cross authorized personnel line. They're not going to ask questions to.
Okay. And here at least he would just have the sonic carbine, not the assault rifle.
And I imagine it's like racked on like his back or leg or something. Like it's not in his hands, correct?
Sure.
No, I mean, like, what is his security posture at this point? Does he just have the weapon brandished on his body, or is he actually carrying it in his hands?
I would assume he's carrying it in his hands. Of course, he's gonna,
It's up to you, like, because I'm thinking like
control and all of that.
Yeah, like it might be a slight delay, but it also, depending on the situation, it's not necessarily warranted that you have an armed armsman or robot. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not making myself clear, but that's fine. It's no big deal.
I understand. Yeah, most merchant ships don't, roll out a military before they come off of their ship.
Yeah.
So I do get that part of it.
Yeah.
But then again, this isn't even our ship. We got to take care of it.
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
to use.
And
We
you
need
do
to use
have a
whatever
big
we have
fat
available.
bullseye on the back of your head.
Ah,
That was
whatever.
entirely your fault. That had nothing to do with me. I just facilitated you doing it. So here's what happens. So the cargo ramp descends. Chip comes down to the end. People are excited. There's an increase in the volume of sound coming from the crowd. And when they see Chip, there's a moment of, ooh, what's that? And then they see you with your cutlass. Like, it's a new captain? What? What?
I'll wave at him.
What?
I'll give him a.
Oh,
I'll
that's
give him
cute. He's waving.
parade
Why
wave.
does he have a sword? Who does that? That's so 600 years ago.
Oh.
Actually, I gotta do my math. No, that checks out. That would be the 1700s. I feel like the Navy had actual swords at that point. Still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're like, who actually uses a sword? Fun fact, or side note, swords in space actually makes a lot of sense for a variety of reasons. I digress. In the crowd is now, in the span of a few minutes, as you're talking with this ground crew chief, within a few minutes, this cheer that started when the ramp came down has quickly faded, and now the crowd is like, man, that's some bullshit. This isn't even are we not getting trinkets and snacks now? My kid came out here for nothing. He missed a whole day of school. This is some bullshit. And
I'm sorry, what, sir?
yeah, my kid missed all of school today, so come watch you guys land, and I'm not even getting a trinket or some snacks for the kid.
Why? I'm okay. This is my first time being on this planet. Why
Well,
is
you
that?
suck. He just takes his kid in his hand and just turns around and walks away.
No, what? Fine, whatever. Fuck off. All right. This is goddamn. Hey,
I just wave my.
Glad you missed school. Glad you're being a fucking dumbass.
I come out a little bit later and I just wave my hands and say, "Thank you for your support. Please remember to leave us a Yelp rating."
What are tankers and stores called?
Oh god, I still need to come up with a name for that.
Tankers
man.
are us.
Tankers
So I
I
assume the Iron Jolly crew would break a case open and just hand shit out at the landing pad.
So okay, yeah. So the ground crew chief, he watches this exchange. He's just like, holy shit, that guy's kind of an asshole. Wow. I mean, not for nothing, you guys are not the normal crew of this ship, but wow, that was rude. And he's like, to be honest, I kind of want to apologize for this guy. Listen, here's normally what happens is, and I still need to come up with a name for the captain of the Jolly. Normally, when the Jolly lands, like the crew comes out and they've got like bags of treats from wherever they've been last, and hand out candy to the kids, and sometimes there's some keychains or some shit like that for the grown-ups. Obviously, your boss didn't tell you. It's not my business, but I do kind of feel bad that guy went off on you like that. That was really uncalled for.
It happens.
Yeah, but I would like to think that Beta Canum could be better than that. He might be one of the hill folk. I don't know.
Ooh, the hill folk.
I had to say something semi not really racist. Now everybody in the real world's gonna be like, Omar, you son of a bitch! I fucking hate you. Unfollow.
Yeah. Anyhow.
So sad. Anyway.
We need full servicing. We have cargo to drop off. We need to get a vehicle, and we need to get a hold of our contact.
Yes, you do, and none of that has anything to do with me. Well, the fuel part and the customs guy. I guess I can wave him on.
Yeah,
so,
and the wiper blades and on the topping out the fluids and all the other.
Yeah, we don't do that. It was a joke. You missed it. You missed your opportunity. I said that joke like 5 minutes ago. At any rate, my boss is coming. He's going to be facilitating your customs inspection. So, whoever's handling your cargo, go ahead and identify the cargo leaving the ship now. And my boss, Chief Anders, will be up here momentarily. And you could see coming through the crowd that is slowly dissipating with some mild rabble grumbling, is an older gentleman. Let's see. Older gentleman, balding brown hair with a bit of a mustache and a generally unkept mid-length beard, wearing and I'll let you imagine whatever you want to imagine, but he is clearly wearing some sort of security/customs uniform. You know, I imagine some sort of belt with that goes around his waist, and then the one strap that comes across one shoulder diagonally to the belt, with maybe like a pistol and, you know, a couple other, you know, pockets for like handcuffs or whatever the case might be. He's probably got, you know, in fact, he's probably got like one pouch on this that is just filled with rubber gloves or latex gloves, I should say.
Ooh.
Well, you never know. You never know what he's gonna be touching.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. At that point, I just kind of push Wyatt forward and say, "Go do your cargo thing, cargo boy."
Yeah. So Anders walks up. He's like, "All right, who's in charge here? I need to look at this cargo."
So I
Wyatt?
just disappear.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are assholes.
I'm gonna go see if I can get Marco on the phone, you know, on the line.
All right, we'll come back to you.
Well,
We're gonna see
okay.
we're gonna see how Wyatt handles the customs inspection.
Okay.
Yep, that's some cargo, all right.
Well, take me to it. What's coming off the ship? Anything else? I don't need to look at as long as it stays right there where it is.
Well, despite what we're contracted to deliver here, I do have some speculative cargo.
Oh, so I might as well look at it all, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so I've got I got
Let's go check out these seals. I want to be clear. He is definitely talking over you because it's almost like he has other things or maybe even better things to do.
Whoa.
Uh-oh, we lost Milligan.
Yeah, it just kicked me.
That's because you disappeared on your boss. Way to be a, you know, way to be the support team lead by dipping out and providing zero
I am
support.
trying to get us a truck. What are you talking about?
And that's canon now.
Where's our support, man? Milligan, what happened? I had to go poop.
Yeah, that's it. Gotta get this spacesuit off quick. I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Man, I'm getting some bad imagery in my head. Wyatt.
So what, are you guys digital or do I have to go print out some hard copies?
He pulls a tab out of some pouch on the side of his leg. A tablet, I should say. Starts scrolling through, finds what you assume is the name of your ship, the Iron Jolly. Looks through what is listed for the manifest. He's like, let me see what your manifest says. Bounce it off mine.
Yeah.
Start from there.
Yeah, and I forward all the copies of that to him.
All right.
As far as I know, we're legal, so you know.
Oh, that is not the best way I've ever had a conversation like this start. As far as I know, you're legal. This will be fun. And he starts proceeding up the cargo ramp and directly into the cargo bay, even as he scrolls through his list of what's in the manifest, like the various items that you guys are carrying. Oh, look at that. 25 tons of... Jesus, I had this in my previous episode's notes. Give me a second. Let's see if I can remember what it is. Manufactured consumer goods. What an ubiquitous, what an all-encompassing name. Manufactured.
Yeah, it's random crap for a gift store.
Yes, random crap for gift store. He actually takes a stylus and starts scribbling that in the margins. And then he proceeds to the 3 8.5 ton-ish quarter-size containers. Kicks at the seals on the containers. Well, seals seem in place. Go ahead and open this one up for me, would you?
Yeah, sure, no problem. And
this is what we call a random inspection.
And Wyatt would go over to the side and get the appropriate tools, and then he would open it up for him.
Okay. Now, I know the answer to this question.
Well, I don't know the answer to this question.
Fair. Are you carrying anything I should know about before I open this door? This is your last chance.
As far as on the
As far as I know, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to write a book one day when I retire from this gig, and it's going to be called As Far As I Know, ... by Mars L. Anders.
Okay, fine. Let's say I did declare something illegal. What happened? No, you tell me what happens. I get arrested, right? Because you're an official and I'm declaring illegal goods.
I just want to know if anything living or explosive might happen to jump out at me.
I don't believe
You know
there'll be
what?
anything
I'm gonna
like that
step
when you open the
back.
door.
I don't like the way you're acting. Let me just step back, and why don't you open the container
I
for
am
me?
gonna open the door. It's just like you're getting pissy that I say and everything I know of the board. But if there wasn't legal there and I say yes, nothing bad, nothing good happened. So of course I was gonna
Wyatt
deny
is
it.
acting like he's never had a customs inspection before. I'm giving you a little bit of shit wiggles, but also this guy's kind of a dick.
Anyway, whatever. Welcome to the glories of a cargo container.
All right, I want you to roll. Actually, I should be rolling this, so let me roll this first. All right, that'll be a +2. Nope, I did not want to do that. I wanted to do that. Oh, that's not good.
See, this is why I wanted to hide your dice in the drawer.
So let me figure out how I want to do this. Chief Anders opens the both cargo doors to this container. You've opened one. You did the hand motion with one. Please, after you, welcome to the glories of cargo. Whatever it was you said a second ago. And he goes in. He pulls out a one of the old school police flashlights. The one that's like almost 1.5 feet, 2 feet long with the big fat end that has the big flashlight bulb. And you just hear a clack as the light turns on. And he starts kind of weaving his way through the crates. And he says, this crate, and this crate. Let's go ahead and let's see what's inside them.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And I put on a little belt strap because you got to put in your PPE.
Yeah.
Hey, Krieg, when you're moving boxes, do you have the little stupid? Well, it's not stupid. Do you have the belt strap to make sure your bag doesn't go out when you're
I do not, but I only have to worry about what's on my truck, and maybe for my own benefit, I should.
You should.
Depending on some of the boxes I move. However, I have seen some of the package handlers that work the entire belt and are responsible for like multiple trucks to load it. Or in the afternoons when I come back and they've got people unloading. Yeah, some of them guys do have that stuff. But yeah, I imagine Wyatt's definitely putting that on, even with his gravity assist exo thing. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I would like to put forward, before anything too spicy happens, I am wearing my armor jacket, which does just look like a normal jacket.
Mm-hmm. But it's got little Kevlar plates or something like that inside.
Yeah, it's established in the rules that it's like a recon investigation DC 12 to actually figure out that it's armored.
Well, let me make that full rule.
No, it's okay. You don't have to.
I'm gonna add a
it's fine.
2. That's an 11. If he's noticed, he hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so I put on and then I pull out the cargo that he wants it out, and it's like, you got a box knife, or do you want me to do that for you?
No, just break the seal. I'll take a look. I got some, and then he pulls out of another cargo pocket a roll of cargo inspection tape. Like, I don't know what they would actually do, but it's taped clearly with like various barcodes and things of that nature, so it's official and it can't be duplicated. But like whenever customs wants to open a package, they can close it with this tape, and this will just this box was randomly selected for inspection by so and so, agent number such and such, barcode something or other with 15 digits. Well, in this case, probably like 32.
I pop out my box knife and I open up the boxes.
All right, go ahead and make a 2d6 roll, no modifiers.
2. Oh, 4 apparently.
Yep,
4.
Yep. When you pop the first box, he rifles through it. It's nothing but like less than the size of your palm. Various knickknacks, keychains, little rings, medallions, little just trinkets, just junk trinkets you would normally find inside a gift shop. Go ahead and make another 2d6 no modifier for me. All right, the second box. The second box, there are a number of small kits that are either model construction, or you know those big blocks. Well, get like a block of this sandstone that you have your kid chisel through, and there'll be like some little gem inside, or little coins or something like that. Anyway, that's what you find in this third box, or excuse me, in the second box. In the third box, you find a number of rifle, pistol, light machine gun components. Each piece individually wrapped and buried underneath a number of other gift shop trinket items.
God damn it.
And Anders stands up straight, holding what is clearly the barrel to an assault rifle. And he goes, well, well, well. What have we got here?
Random Charles
Manufactured goods.
What did you say, Charles?
I said manufactured goods.
You know what? Are you in this scene? Are you anywhere near the cargo bay? Okay.
No, not at all.
No, he's at the bar getting
He's at the
drunk.
bar. He's at the bar with Milligan, planning how to get away. Anders rifles through the rest of that particular crate and says, well, it's a lot of shit here. I'm gonna need to see the whole crew pronto. And then he grabs his radio and calls for backup. Yep, I've got a 4150, pad 6, the Iron Jolly. Go ahead and send a detachment
I'm
out.
so glad this is happening. Fuck my life. God damn it.
So,
Hey, as a joke, as a funny ha-ha, if you were to stumble on $100,000 as a joke, ha-ha-ha, would that make your day?
He just looks at you like, I'm going to pretend you never asked that question.
I said that as a joke. I am established as a funny ha-ha man, and I clearly stated that was a joke.
You should probably find a different job than being a comedian or a cargo runner.
It's not my day job is running cargo for some dipshit that put guns in it. God fucking damn it.
After
Fucking hell. Okay, now alright, fine, whatever. Yeah, let me. You wanna follow me to the bridge? What do you want to do here?
right down here in the cargo bay seems fine. This ship doesn't have a crew larger than about 15 or so people, and I've got half a dozen well-armed and armored people coming out myself.
Yeah, alright, so I'll call up to the bridge and talk to the hell's on there and like hey, start calling all the crew back on board. God fucking damn it.
Nobody, I want to point out, and I'm not necessarily doing this in a gotcha moment, but nobody scrutinized any of the manifest or the cargo. You basically... No, listen. Everything you were told seemed on the up and up, so you're right. To a certain level, like, well, why would I have to check my boss? We're going to fast forward slightly here. It's probably, 4-ish. You've got everybody kind of just sitting on the floor. Nobody's been cuffed, zip-tied. There are a number of customs agents along with Chief Anders here.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna find any in my fingerprints or anything on that.
No.
I'm completely.
But they have definitely gone and opened up all of the containers of all the cargo. They have opened up all of the crates inside the 3 containers specifically from tank. I mean, they've opened up literally everything. But they have also started a separate pallet specifically for this equipment that they have found. And what they have found is the equivalent of 5 tons of small arms equipment, repair kits, and ammunition.
Is Milligan and Helwig there?
Oh yeah, everybody's here at this point. Unless Helwig or Milligan or anybody else for that matter wants to specifically state, fuck no, I'm running. At which point you will have security teams chasing you.
Hey, okay, first let's resolve that first.
Okay.
No, nope. I'm like, I'll play the silly game, and you know, so I'll just be there, and I'll just be just looking at one of those utility pads and just keeping notes and just saying, well, for our protection, as the legally appointed law officer for us, I am having to ask that we need to record this for our posterity and our protection and everything else like that. But let us go, customs man. Let us go.
Anders looks at you. He's got a little bit of a smirk, but you can't tell if it's like a playful smirk or if it's a I've heard this bullshit before. You could, and then he says like, listen, ain't nobody going anywhere until I get some answers. But go ahead, record whatever you want.
Look, okay, look, you want to know what the answer is? Someone fucked us over. That's the answer. Whatever question you're gonna ask, do you know there's guns on board? No, someone fucked us over. Because, goddamn it, I've been doing running cargo in space for 40 fucking years. I want to run guns. I know how to do it. You know, you just, God fucking damn it.
Man, Wyatt is pissed.
and I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna look at the customs guy and just go, I'm just gonna mention that especially him, and I gotta point directly at Wyatt and go, he's a spacer. He would know how to do this without being stupid. This is kind of obvious and blatant and stupid. Come on. As a former customs agent to a current customs agent, you've seen it, and just like you said, someone's always screwed somebody else over. Let us apply some intelligence and some reasonable person theories to this. Really?
Even our actual ship, we were taking over command for someone else.
Let alone look at the fact that there was 1,000 people that were out here waiting for us, and we're like,
it was 100.
We were 100,000. I mean, for all I know, it's the whole population of the planet. Whatever.
Howard, go ahead and make me a persuade roll.
Oh no.
Does me being so pissed off making it a boon?
Where's my persuade?
From what I saw, you have persuade 0, so at least you don't have the -3. You're good.
That would be a 9.
Yeah, a 9 flat is a success.
Yeah.
But also you beat his 5 total, so
right.
He starts to key in on some of the things you're saying. He also picks up on some of the body language from Wyatt, and he's been doing this. It should be obvious that he's been in security and or customs for many years, possibly even a couple decades.
Yes. And so unless someone actually tells White to shut up, he'll just keep it going on. We just got a payout for fucking, digging out a ship out of a mudball ice hole. Wyatt, we all got paid out. What? I got like $1 million in the bank. Why do I fucking run? God damn it.
They're gonna ask about the. I'm not even gonna. All right, whatever. He's just angry. Just let him. He needs to get it out of the system.
Yeah. No, I get it. Listen, you, and he points at Milligan. I've seen your face. You haven't said shit this whole time, so you obviously have some sort of control here. So I want you to come with me, and I'm going to take my tablet, which has my copy of the manifest, and I'm going to take the copy of the manifest that he was given, that Wyatt gave me, and we're going to go sit down somewhere nice and quiet, and we're going to go hash this out.
Oh, no.
And he looks over at somebody who has, like, I imagine Chief Anders has, like, maybe, like, 2 or 3 gold bars on his collar, and he looks over at somebody who has, like, 1 or 2, 1 bar less, and he says, you, keep him quiet, keep the rest of them detained, the rest of you keep packing that stuff on that pallet. And then Milligan, you and I, we're going to go talk about this.
So when I stand up, I tell Chip and Milo to go to the room. They'll know what that means.
Go to your room.
Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah, go to my room, but yeah, that's where their chargers are. So
they're gonna go power up.
So I just want them. I don't want anybody getting nervous around them and doing something stupid. So them reacting, and I'm not going to be there to direct them. So I want them in their room.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I'll go with Dude.
Yeah, so he finds a nice little quiet spot. Maybe I don't have the floor plan out, but maybe like in the galley or something like that. It's quiet. You don't hear the sounds of guns being pulled out of crates, and you don't hear the sounds of Wyatt being pissed the fuck off.
Oh, I'm pissed off too, but yeah.
Yeah. But you've got it under control, and that's why he grabbed you. And he just sits down at a table or a chair, and he kind of slaps the tablet down, and he's like rubbing the bridge of his nose. He's like, all right, listen, sit down. We got to figure this out like two rational thinking people. I know who you are. And if you are who I think you are, you're the ones that pulled that ship out of the ice, just like the spacer said a minute ago. What are you guys doing running guns?
We're not running guns. Or at least
you've got
not
5 tons of this shit in the other room right now, says otherwise.
To our knowledge, we're not running guns.
Who sent you on this mission? Who sent you on this trade convoy?
Tell him.
Tankerson?
Yep.
Tankerson, the owner of the Iron Jolly, said, here, take this shit. But he didn't tell you that there were guns in the cans.
Nope. Because
you
evidently
see how this doesn't
look
like it makes any damn sense to me?
Okay. Maybe I can make it make some sense to you, but I don't have all the answers. And anything I tell you is going to be a theory and not fact, and definitely not anything I can prove.
Right, well,
so do you want to hear that or not?
You know what? Your theories might hold something if you can keep the tinfoil out.
Well, what you consider tinfoil and what I consider fact may be two opposite things. So we'll figure it out, I guess.
I guess so. Facts.
Okay.
You have 25 tons of... Can we rip off our boss now?
Well, hang on. I said, let me go back a little further than that.
Okay.
Okay. You're aware of Flex, correct?
Do we really need to bring them into this? This is all about this ship
I'm not gonna
now.
I'm just laying out some history for you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So to let you know what this particular crew has been through. 20 words less my ass. We were employees of Flex.
Yes.
Flex's hiring procedures were obviously flawed.
I'm sorry.
Or their admiralty has other motives than Flex's motives. Okay.
I'm still not seeing the relevance to here and now, but go ahead.
Our captain on that ship sabotaged our ship as we were coming in to Beowulf and escaped the ship, leaving all of us to die. Okay. We managed we managed to get the ship crippled but operating and managed to successfully dock it at the station at Beowulf. Our reward for that was for Flex to illegally seize us and hold us prisoner.
Listen,
for weeks.
I hear you. I've seen your interview with Barbie Walters.
Right.
I don't know what this has to do here. Like, I've read this story. I've bought the Kool-Aid. This doesn't have anything to do with here.
But it might.
You're going to need to make your leap real soon, son.
I'm going there. Our captain is evidently some kind of high-ranking officer in the Empire of Mankind. You know what all is going on in the Chinese arm right now with the Empire of Mankind,
yeah, they're all throwing missiles at each other. That's not entirely new.
Right. The ship that we recovered, that was Tankerson funding that. We were his employees. As the team that did the salvage, supposedly we have some kind of stake in that. Maybe he doesn't want us to have a stake in it anymore. Maybe he wants that ship for himself.
Okay.
Maybe he's in league with Empire of the Man, and this is another way to get back at us for causing them issue, bringing them into the limelight, yada yada.
I mean, that sits literally somewhere between maybe and some bullshit TV show or a show on Twitch.tv. I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely looked directly at the camera when I said that, by the way.
I said, I have no idea why our
GM breaking a fourth wall.
Because I asked him very specifically when he was talking about us transporting this cargo, I asked him to his face, was it clean? And he responded back to my face, why, of course it is. So
I don't think that's exactly what he said, but it is pretty damn close.
Well, yeah, it is not our job to crack open. I mean, what if we'd have come here and all of these cases have had the seals broken on them? What would you have done then? Well, pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah, like all your cargo would have had been seized and litigation to figure it out.
So those seals are there not for the crew to tamper with, only for custom agents to tamper with. So no, we didn't go through those cases because that's not our place. We have to assume that when we're delivered stuff,
I'm gonna hold you right
you
there.
know,
I'm gonna hold you right there.
the
You're
manifest
right.
is true.
We have
Right.
to go off the manifest. Talk to me about this manifest. There's a number of very minor, but definitely specific inconsistencies regarding this particular shipment of 25 tons. Can you explain that?
And what inconsistencies? I
I
mean, other than the
am going
weapon
to
parts.
wave my GM hand, and I'm going to say if you roll a 2d6 with a 7 or better, you will be able to piece it together. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And this is some bullshit. Fuck
Boom.
me. Okay. Yeah, you take a moment and you do the digital version of flipping through several pages, and you suddenly pull out immersion broken. GM did not provide an actual itemized list of cargo. Fuck off, Wiggles. Wiggles is like, I'm trying to save the crew any way I can. You start flipping through these digital pages, and you start pulling out a pen and start taking notes, and then you realize the information was there all along had you had taken any time to dig through it deeply. Like, it, not even necessarily like reading it line by line, page by page, you wouldn't have caught it. It would have taken the fact that you were, somebody waved this at you. Somebody in the know waved this at you and said, there's something wrong here. That was the only way you would have known. It was hidden, but it wasn't hidden, if that makes any sense.
But it would pretty much take at least somewhat close to an expert, to recognize it quickly
You see the first
anyway.
little reach? Oh my God, Wiggles, you're killing me, man. I know y'all can't really see that too well on the screen, but Wiggles just typed in TTS chat. He's like, you see the first letter of each cargo item spells. Literally, gun running. But ultimately, I mean, that's what you get when you look through all this paperwork, is that this is indeed a manifest for 20 tons of completely 100% absolutely legit products and 5 tons of less than legal, less than, what's the word I'm looking for? Less than, I guess less than legit cargo, where under very, very specific circumstances, this is a legit cargo run. Very specific conditions have to be met, and they are currently not being met. And so when you... Go ahead.
If it's listed on the manifest, what's the problem?
The problem is how Anders is reading everything. He's not seeing exactly what you're seeing. What he is seeing... So what he is seeing is this manifest and other associated paperwork that says this is supposed to be 25 tons of manufactured consumer goods. And then when he opens it, he sees 20 tons, not 25. And then the discrepancies that actually explains that under very specific conditions, this is legit, but those conditions are currently not met. He doesn't see where that deviates, and he doesn't see how that becomes rectified. He only sees that there's a problem.
Okay. Well, how would those conditions get met? What's missing?
You making another roll.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
That one didn't look good from the start.
Okay. I'll give you this. It looks like there was supposed to be an intermediary on the ground waiting.
There is. His name is Marco, but we haven't been able to raise him. I've tried to raise him before we even were inbound, and have gotten no response from him.
Anders points to several specific lines over 3 different pages. They all reference intermediary, on the ground, waiting, something to that effect.
Uh-huh.
And he looks at you. He says, I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea what this intermediary bullshit is. Listen, whoever put this paperwork together knows a lot more legalese than I do, and I've been doing this for 33 years. Help me make it make sense. What is this talking about?
Well, there was supposed to be somebody here with a truck for us, Marco. He was our contact that Tankerson arranged.
Why don't you give this guy a call, get him out here, and see if we can't unfuck this situation.
I've been trying. And
he hands you a cell phone. Or, well, it's 2300. It's not a cell phone, but you get the idea.
A link phone. I got a link phone. Yeah.
Well, he gives you his because yours is probably.
Okay.
He's not gonna let you. Listen, you're lucky he let you pull a pen out of your pocket. He's not gonna let you pull anything else out.
I can't pull my sword out. No.
Fuck no, your sword's been detained.
Phrasing. Phrasing.
Fuck off, Charles.
So I'll try to contact Marco again.
All right, and it rings through, and somebody picks up on the other end. Who's this?
I said, "This is Milligan.
Who the fuck is?
We've got the iron."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on the starport?
How do you know? We've been trying to call you
They've
and get
got
you
like
over here.
15
Where are you?
people standing around with shotguns. What did you guys do?
Oh, we didn't do anything.
Are you
Whoever loaded them-
sure? Because somebody said something, and now there's 15 people standing around the outside of your ship pulling perimeter guard.
Well, we've had a customs inspection. They just-
Motherfucker. All right,
Exactly.
hold on. I'll give me like 30 minutes. I'll be over there. Who? Do you have the customs guy with you right now?
Yep.
Let me talk.
This
to
is
him.
his phone. I'll
Oh,
just hand his
even
phone back.
better.
Yeah.
Hey, Marco,
So
this
I'll
is
hand the phone
Milligan.
back and
Look,
say,
so like
yeah.
not being held at gunpoint, can you please pick up the legal cargo? Come alone. Yeah, you hear Mark. Well, you don't hear Marco, but you definitely overhear that they're having a conversation, and you catch a few words, something like, "Listen, this is a terrible mistake." Something, something, something. Well, what are you gonna do about it? Well, listen, let me get like something, something, something. 30 minutes, something, something, something. And finally, Anders is like, "Okay, all right, this is some bullshit, but I guess all right, whatever." And he closes his phone or hangs up or whatever it is we do with link devices because I have no idea.
Okay.
He says, "Well, come on, we're gonna go back down to the cargo bay, and I guess we're gonna wait for your buddy to show up, this Jacoby guy."
I said, I've never met the guy before. And his name's
You know
Marco.
what? I don't really care. Marco Jacoby, that's his name. If you didn't
Oh,
know.
okay.
It's probably oh look, it's right there as the
Yeah.
Reception or the not reception receiving party. And then he points at another line, or actually no, I think as the scene transitions from the ending of this conversation, I think the camera kind of zooms in for a brief moment over some of the digital paperwork, and we see the words "valid upon receipt by designated recipient Marco Jacoby."
Okay.
And the camera hovers there for a moment on the screen, and then we cut to commercial. And when we come back from commercial, we are back in the cargo bay, and this individual, I think I gave myself some notes on what this dude looks like. Give me a second here. This individual, it looks like he's probably about 30 years old or so, blonde hair, close cut to the sides, a low fade military style cut. He has a very short and thin goatee and mustache, and the rest of his face appears to have been routinely clean shaven. He is dark skinned, as if he was someone who spends an awful lot of time outdoors. He arrives by himself, approaches the security cordon around the ship, which, as he had mentioned, definitely has a number of armed guards holding security. And after a moment, you see Anders walk down the cargo bay ramp. You hear a few words being exchanged, but nothing specific or certainly nothing alarming. And after a moment later, they both come back up, and this is your first time actually seeing Marco Jacoby. Marco approaches effectively everybody in the cargo bay that is not customs, and he says, "All right, listen, not sure where exactly the disconnect happened, but the shortest possible version is, my bad, it's all sorted. Can we get this shit loaded back up?" And then Anders kind of does one of those, standing there with his hands on his hips, looking down, shaking his head, like, this could have been a good bust, but it's not. The paperwork does check out. And he's like, he stands up after a moment. He's like, "All right, guys, listen, sorry for the waste of time. Let's pack their shit up. Let's get it reloaded. Put all the weapons in one crate. It seems like we're already halfway there anyway," as he points to the pallet full of various weapons and ammunition. "Let's get all the shit packed up. Let's help them out. Let's go." And he claps his hands. He's like, "Let's go. Let's get it done." And then you guys spend the next, probably about an hour repacking everything that has been unpacked. and loading crates back into shipping containers, and then ultimately everything gets resealed with the customs seal. Not that it matters, because the intended recipient is standing right there watching it all happen, so you didn't really have to. But regulations being what they are. Throughout this process, I'm kind of skimming through some of this a little bit, so if anybody wants to actually interject, that's fine, but I do have a moment planned where you'll have a chance to actually talk with Marco without the customs guy. After probably about an hour or so, everything gets loaded back up, and then Chief Anders takes a moment, shakes the hands of the three of you, and that's, of course, Wyatt doesn't want him, or any of you don't want to shake his hand. He says, I apologize. Unfortunately, sometimes this sort of thing does happen, a little bit more than I would like, but, at least hopefully we're doing the right thing and we can keep people safe. That's really what it's all about at the end of it. And that taxes go where they belong.
I'll step up and shake his hand, and then when I turn to leave and I'm facing the other two, I'll give him a big eye roll.
Does Wyatt shake his hand? That's what I want to know. Wyatt was clearly pissed.
Wyatt will shake his hand. He's not pissed at him. The custom agent is not responsible for the burning bag of shit he's been handed to him and tell him that it's an
Right.
apple pie.
When I see Tankerson, on the other hand, that motherfucker. So yeah, it's probably going on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon now, or well, probably about 6, maybe even 7 at this point. The sun is descending quickly. And it's just Jacoby and you guys, you and your crew, as they finish loading things up, closing them off. And Jacoby's just kind of standing there. He's like, well, that was a shit show. My bad. I must have missed a call or something.
Or
But
two,
hey,
or three.
I'm here now,
Yeah.
finger guns at all three of you.
I look at Milligan, and I just go finger guns, and then I stick a finger hard into Jacoby's chest and go, yeah, you screwed up. You should have been here. We almost went to jail again. These kids don't want to go to jail again. I go crazy in jail. Let's not do this again. What the hell? And I just kind of grab him by his lapels and throw him inside the cargo bay.
I need a roll. What do you got? I know you got melee of something. No, you don't have shit for melee. Let's go. Let's fucking go. God damn it.
Yep.
Make your 2D roll -3. I don't want to call you a bitch.
That's all right.
A 4.
That'd be a 4.
All right. I don't even know if this guy's got... Oh, that's the wrong button. I don't know if this guy's got melee, but I will add a +1 just for shits and giggles. 11 to your 4. You grab...
Yeah.
You do the whole finger jabbing into the chest, and he just sits there staring at you. He almost has like a blank stare. But after like the 3rd or 4th time you stab him with your index finger, that cold stare becomes an angry stare. And when you grab him by the lapels and attempt to kind of push him back as if to finally and fully illustrate your point, he does a couple of quick... it's not judo, but he does some sort of martial arts move that breaks your grip and manages to shove you back, and you're backpedaling. You are like off balance, and you literally have to backpedal to keep from falling over. And he's like, I said, my fucking bad. Shit happens, okay? Now, are we done being pissed off? Then can we get back to the job at hand?
I want more money.
I am not in control of that.
I'm pretty sure you're receiving COD, right?
I'm not even paying you guys for this shipment. You know that, right?
Right,
You're literally bringing it here on the guy receiving it. We all work for the same guy.
You're moving goods, and the people receiving the goods, they're not doing any money transfers through U.S. server. You're not receiving any money for your work you're doing right now.
I'm being
You're
paid by the
doing this
same...
for charity? You run guns for charity? Holy hell. Can I get you some numbers? There'd be a lot of people interested in your business.
You really don't know when to shut the fuck up, do you?
This is my ship, so no, I don't have to.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Listen, we're all paid by the same person. He sent you here to bring shit to me. I take that shit, and I take it to where it goes. That's basically how this works, except there's one minor flaw that you may not have been told about. and I don't know where to put the blame for that one. I will say this. We need some trucks, and I need some escort. And frankly, we are not off to a good start. So maybe the four of us could just go to the local Starport Lounge and have a drink and maybe grab something to eat, and maybe we can have some cooler heads by the time we come out of this.
Fine.
Where are the trucks though?
I am going to
Is it-
roll Persuade with no modifier. I roll an 11, so if you feel like resisting his persuasion attempt, by all means. I'm not going to force you to go to the Starport Lounge with him to get a beer and a burger, but he is definitely making that offer. And he seems, at least for nothing else, he seems really genuine about wanting to try to make amends here.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. I'll grumble and groan and kind of stand up
Like this
from.
motherfucker judo chopped me, and I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna go, whatever. Let's get going, and start stomping off the ship.
Let's go to the beef sandwich places with the castle motif.
It's called a White Castle.
No, actually, it's called Castle Motif. It's a white building
Yeah.
with ramparts and a blue and yellow flag over top.
Right.
And it's
What-
literally the
that's the way
name.
to do it,
It's written in like all lowercase cursive, Castle Motif on the banners. That's how you know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys head on over there. Well, what instructions, if any, are you leaving for your crew?
I'm
I don't think we. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I'm gonna tell Blaine and the security detail. No one gets off. Everybody stays on. I'm saying close the doors, lock the doors, and anybody crosses the warning line for exhaust, shoot first, ask questions later.
God damn it, Wiggles. Oh, man. Okay. Milligan, are you instructing anybody to do anything or not do anything?
I'm gonna repost Chip and Milo in the cargo bay itself.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Blaine, and actually, I'm gonna go to Helwig first, and let him know I'm gonna put Blaine in charge of Chip and Milo while we're off the ship, in case they need the backup.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna bring Chip and Milo to Blaine, explain to her, tell them they're going to accept commands from her while I'm off of the ship. Do what she
Blaine
says.
gives you something of a. Let me look at something. Blaine intelligence is an 8, so she's actually got half decent intelligence. Blaine looks at you and she's kind of like, so simple commands only? How elaborate? Like, elaborate commands don't need to be. God damn it, I can't even say it. Elaborate commands are not really commands, but like, how in depth can we get here? What kind of decision tree logic do they have?
I mean, if you tell them to attack the enemy, anybody that's not our crew is the enemy right now. So be aware of that.
So maybe more specificity. I don't know if I got that word
Exactly.
out. Did I get that word out on the first try, by the way? I feel like I did. That's a tough one to get out.
If you want to call his targets for him, do that. Be as specific as you can.
Got
the
it.
guy with the assault rifle in the red boots, shoot him first. That kind of thing.
All right.
I'm going to arm him not with a sonic weapon. I'm going to arm him with one of the assault rifles that we picked up.
The French ones that I forget which ones they are.
If you need a little more, you can ask Milo.
Milo.
And
the cat?
And I'm just gonna leave it.
What's he gonna do? Trip people?
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. Hopefully you won't have to use him.
He gives you something of a side glance without actually turning to the side, and she's like, "What did you do to that cat, you monster?" She's forgotten for the moment that it is a fucking robot. Other than the fact it doesn't actually have. Well, does it have fur? Or does it just have like faux fur?
He doesn't have fur, and he is a little armored, but not much.
Yeah, so yeah, she's definitely like, for a brief moment, has a brief break from reality and realizes it's not an actual cat. So she's like,
Right.
"What did you do to that cat?" Oh, it's a fucking robot, isn't it? God damn it. All right.
His skills are varied.
Yes, chase laser lays people.
We'll see. If it comes down to it, you'll get to see it in all its glory. So if it doesn't, then
That's
maybe you'll
not.
sleep better.
I read a book once by this military historian, and he came up with this alien species. It was like part tree, part cat. They had like 6 legs and I don't know, razors for feet. I don't. It was bad. It was fucking bad. Not the books. What these tree cat things can do.
Well, he doesn't have laser or razors
Extra
in his
points
feet.
if you get the reference to that one.
Oh, that one. Razors in their feet.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I'll give you a keyword. Honor.
Oh.
But yeah, ultimately, I think ultimately before we get too far derailed there, because I'm so good at derailing myself. I think ultimately Blaine gives you like a thumbs up. It's like, all right, got it.
Okay.
Put Milo with Chip. Tell Chip to guard the shit. Be specific in assigning targets, and shoot in the same general direction. Got it.
Right. But y'all are going to be all buttoned up anyway, so it's going to take a big effort from somebody to even try to gain access to the ship.
We're talking like some really well-placed shaped charges, breaching charges, things of that nature. Yeah.
I mean, somebody would have to really want to assault the ship. So there was one thing I wanted to do before we left.
Sure.
I thought I was going to do it back when Wyatt was talking to the cargo guy, but it can fit in anywhere.
Sure.
I want to spy on that that space plane a little bit.
You mean the one that I totally did not offer as a potential problem?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been followed too many times, and they weren't technically following us, but they wound up on the same.
They were very literally not following. You were following them, you stalker.
Whatever.
What would you like to attempt to do before you depart with Marco Jacoby and the hangry 3 that you are?
Use some kind of imaging device, be that some binoculars that might be on board or the scope on my rifle or something. And I just want to observe that space plane.
You're gonna try to poke. You're gonna try to poke your sniper scope out the window of your ship to see what they're doing over there.
Well, we don't really have roll down windows, so if the ship is
I'm
pointed
sure you
the
got
right,
like security cameras or something.
Yeah, if the ship is pointed the right direction, I can do it from the bridge. Whatever. If I need to get up on top of the ship and lay down, I can do that.
Slow down. Here's what I'll do. Give me a recon, but the only modifier you're gonna add is your whatever you would add for a sniper shot, minus the LinkedIn part.
Oh wait, see, but I am LinkedIn.
No, because you would be LinkedIn if you're actually literally using your sniper scope. So go ahead, make your plus 72 fucking dice roll here. What are we looking at? 17?
I
know it's not a plus 11.
Let's see. Is this like everything to hit?
Whatever you would use, not including your actual rifle skill and range and shit like that.
Well, what is the range?
They're 2 pads over, so probably like 400 to 600 meters.
Okay,
which is probably within no modifier range for a sniper rifle.
Yep, with the scope on it. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's see. So it's at least +4.
Ooh.
So that's a 10. 1, 2. Because I don't get my skill, right? You said.
Correct. Well, yeah, correct. You only get the modifier for being linked in and
Dex or whatever.
The whatever from the scope itself.
Yeah. So that would be a total +4.
Total +4, and so we were sitting at a 10.
Yep.
Okay. Let me skim my notes here really quick. This is what you see. Well, let me ask this question too. How much time do you spend observing or attempting to observe without looking like you're observing?
However much time I have.
You could probably do arguably 5 to 10 minutes, but probably not an hour.
Yeah, I was thinking at least 15. So.
All right. Yeah, you get about a solid 10 minutes before the thing. In fact, this is what happens. You do the Starship version of roll the window down and scope out with your scope in the not quite dark hours that it is right now before you guys head out, and observe what you can observe across the tarmac, the several hundred meters it is from your pad to their pad. And then after about 10 to 15 minutes, you get what appears to be a red laser aim dot thrown right back at you, ending your observation. Now, it didn't blind you because I only rolled a 7, but it definitely gets your attention and you get the point behind the message. Stop looking at us, you fucking weirdo. Now,
No, that just means they were looking at us, because nothing I have is throwing a beam out there.
that just means that they're looking around them, not specifically looking at you. This is what you observed in the time that you were able to observe. This space plane, which obviously is used for disembarking or carrying passengers and some cargo, baggage, etc. There are a number of what appears to be couples, men and women, perhaps couples of 2 men or 2 women, but couples in general. They all appear to be 30 to 40 years old. They all appear to be relatively fit. There's a few beards, but not many. The women tend to have their hair tight, buns, or is short, less than shoulder length, chin length, that in that range. The men all seem to have low fades, high and tight, or medium fade. The beards themselves are relatively short. I think I mentioned that already.
So yes, a whole bunch of military aged and
I didn't want to use
people.
those words, but you can can infer that if you like.
Yep. How many?
There are roughly 6. It looks like 6 to 10, but you can't really tell because there's significant amount of movement. It looks like they're getting ready to move out, and there's a lot of joviality too. So like there's shit talking, there's jokes. There's at one point like everybody just literally stops what they're doing and they just all start laughing because somebody said something that must have been clearly hilarious. And then at one point you see there's a ramp or something of that sort open. You don't actually see anybody, but you get the impression that somebody must be standing up at the top of the ramp looking down and yelling down and say, hey, knock it off, whatever, do things. And they kind of chuckle a little bit more and they get back to doing whatever they're doing. And what it looks like they're doing is loading up a rental van, like a full-size conversion van or whatever. Looks like they're loading it up with a bunch of baggage and getting ready to leave the starport. To do what? Obviously, you can't tell from here.
Okay. So I will relay all that to everybody else, that I decided to take a little peek on that space plane that came from the ship that was on our same course heading, all that kind of jazz. And they were obviously scoping us out as well, because I got a laser pointed back at me when I was looking at them. I said they appear to be at least 6 to 10, military aged.
Don't say males.
People. They're all carrying themselves in that manner as well. And they're loading up in a van right now. Had a lot of baggage.
I mean, at this point, for all you know, it could be some sort of marriage retreat, but whatever.
It could, yeah. That's fine.
Everybody has baggage, man. All right.
All right, let's go. Unless there's anything else, let's move ahead to the scene with Jacoby at the castle motif.
Yeah.
And this should be our last scene if we're going to end an hour early.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Let me pull up my notes just so I can keep track of where I'm at here. Yeah, so clearly, and Marco is kind of leading off of this, and he's kind of trying to make a joke about it because he knows it's kind of his fault. So he's definitely doing a certain amount of mea culpa here. That's not where I want my notes. Give me just a second here. Well, we're definitely not meeting at the Randy Maiden Lounge, like my notes suggested.
What? That sounds like a much better place.
That's the actual.
Like a way better place.
Well, it may sound like it, but it's not. I promise you. Okay, so because I said it, I'll tell you what it is. It is the actual local Starport bar. You know how every airport or a lot of hotels will have their own bar? That's what this is. It's a simple bar and lounge that is literally open 24/7. Plenty of both bar and booth seating. Full service grill. A fairly What's the word I want to use here? Not the best quality, but it's slightly overpriced, but a fairly decent range and selection of various types of drinks, especially alcoholic. And it's very obvious that it's meant to be this way because it's a starport bar. Ships come and go all times of the day and night, and so therefore the bar and restaurant needs to be open all day and night. The castle motif is kind of one of those. It's like it's the first not affiliated with the starport restaurants right outside the starport. Jacoby actually recommended that. My notes initially was going to be the Randy Maiden, and it was going to be named after somebody named Randy Maiden, but it was supposed to be a joke on a play on words or whatever. Anyway, I digress. As you guys sit down and you order your stuff, Jacoby kind of leads in and he's like, all right, listen, that shit with the customs, that should not have fucking happened. And I feel like at least 75% of that is my fault for not even catching the phone call. I knew you guys were coming. I just didn't realize you'd be landing today. And then he looks over at Hellwig. He says, "Are you the pilot?"
Nope. And I point towards Milligan and I go, the man with the robotic brain.
Robotic? I feel like there's a story there, but I'm afraid to ask. You're the pilot, though. Looking at Milligan now.
I nod at him. Yep.
Well, if my numbers add up, you showed up something like 8 or 10 hours early, and maybe that's why I missed all of this. I'm not trying to put the blame on you. Maybe just explaining it away. But that sounds to me. Listen, star travel is not my thing. But it sounds to me like getting here 8 or 10 hours faster than the normal average is that's an accomplishment. That's an accomplishment. So my hat's off. And he does that little pantomime of tipping the hat because he's not wearing a hat. At any rate, thank you for at least taking a moment to sit down and maybe if we get some burgers and beers in us, we'll feel a little bit better about how things went. Again, my apologies. We have a bit of a problem, however. I'm going to be straightforward with you. Also, for the interest of time, because I want to get rolling very first thing in the morning, I'm just going to lay it out for you like this. I have 3 6x6 heavy trucks ready to go. They are actually going to move the cargo. I've got drivers and I've got gunners. What I don't have is escort vehicles. Someone to ride, maybe a half a mile or so ahead. He probably wouldn't say mile. He'd probably say click. Half a click ahead. Someone to ride half a mile, a half a click behind, and then a couple vehicles in close around the trucks. Here's the problem. We've got 1,000 kilometers of ground to cover, and the majority of that distance is unregulated and unpatrolled and unmaintained. There's a couple of spots we could stop to rest and fuel up, but there are plenty of places for some, if this was a few hundred years ago, we'd call it piracy, but now we just call it, people being assholes. People that will set up not entirely legit redirection of traffic and then charge a toll for it. A lot of times people either pay or they manage to get away without a lot of violence, but in the last month there's actually been a couple of gunfights. And I don't want to take any chances, especially, as you know by now, the contents that we're shipping. And he stops there to kind of give you guys a moment to digest and figure out how you want to proceed from here. And he bites into his burger. That is definitely not the size of a normal burger. A little bit smaller.
Well, I'll speak up. I'll say, I've kind of been pegged as the paranoid one here. I just view it as safety conscious.
What drink these mixing units? It's not just units. That's whole forms of measure. Sorry, go ahead, Thurgar.
So, I'm always looking out for everybody on the crew. Maybe at things that have no bearing whatsoever on what we're doing, but that pique my interest at the time. So I make sure to spend the time because I want everybody to be safe.
Makes
And
sense.
I go in with him about our approach to the planet, about the space plane, about what I witnessed, earlier, the fact that they are already leaving. and that just kind of,
Wait,
you know,
wait. You're saying there's a team that came. That doesn't sound. Everything I've heard is these guys are local boys. I don't know what you're talking about here at the Starport.
okay. Well, I
And, he
told
does,
him, you know, where the ship
and
was.
then he realizes that he just cut you off, and he's like, you know what? That
Mhm.
is really rude of me. I am so sorry. It's a good thing that this is real life and not, a table full of people playing a game where the GM constantly interrupts people. Because that would be incredibly fucking rude. Don't you agree? And he definitely does not look directly at the camera, but it's just a tiny bit offset. GM breaking the fourth wall again.
So what are the legalities of us being armed when we're away from town?
I mean, I feel like there would be an actual term for this, but I cannot think of it. And so what he says is this. It's kind of one of those things where if you don't get caught, there was never a problem. Carry what you think you can get away with. It's a little kind of loosey-goosey, I think they used to say a couple hundred years ago. I don't know why I would mention that time frame. Are you familiar with the term Wild Wild West?
What the hell's
Yes.
that?
It's a genre of media, television when it was still 2D, books, video games. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is, once you're away from town, it's kind of do what you got to do to get by, and nobody questions it too much as long as you're only defending yourself. If you're attacking people, it's a different story. But you also have to prove that you're only defending. It gets a little muddy. But I'll say this. I've never known anybody to have to do a lot of work when it comes to they shot at me first, so I shot back, and then have to hear things like, well, you're still wrong. I've done this trip a few times. We haven't actively been shot at, but the last couple of times we have gone guns mounted once we're outside of town. Once we start getting close to town, we bring the guns down, and once we leave town, we put them back up. That's been our MO.
So, right off the top of my head, I'm not sure how many people we have capable of driving vehicles.
Wyatt can.
I'm sorry. That was when you said Wyatt can. What I thought I heard was Hellwig can, and it made me think back to Grendel.
He can, yeah.
No, he can. He absolutely can.
Uh-huh.
But I thought he said Hellwig, and then realized a second later that no, what he actually said was Wyatt can. So when you say that, well, I imagine Wyatt says I can. And I imagine Hellwig probably does some sort of, grinds his teeth or something because he doesn't want to come right out and say it, given his last driving excursion.
No, actually, I'll just I can do it. I just comfort level is weird, but I can do it. I can totally do it. So if you want to do it, let's do it, man.
Aren't you guys the ones that went and dug up that starship that crashed, that French warship, something Dark Side of Grendel?
Yeah, something. I don't care. Let's just.
I will tell you this, and Jacoby takes a bite of, like the last bite of his burger, basically. He's talking around a mouthful of food. He's like, well, at least, here on Beta Canum, I almost said Beowulf. Here on Beta Canum, at least you could breathe the atmosphere and have the windows down. I guess there's that.
Windows down, breathing atmosphere, yeah. Scary animals and rebellions. Let's be honest here. Let's lay our cards out on the table. Is there a rebellion nearby? Is there a rebellion going on this planet? Are we going to be hamstrung with a just an uprising? Let's just
I think what it is a bunch of assholes taking advantage of the fact that there's not enough sheriffs to go around. Okay, let me drop my Midwest accent because the Wild Wild West was like 500 years ago. There's no law enforcement outside of the major. You get more than a dozen clicks outside of a major town, maybe 20 clicks outside of a major city like New Middlesex. There's no real law enforcement. So if you got the balls, you could drive up on somebody driving by, shoot the shit out of their car, take their valuables, and leave them high and dry. It happens. It's unfortunate, but I don't want to take that chance, and we can also carry guns and shoot back. Not everybody has that luxury. Or, in some cases, the spinal column.
So there's, okay, understood, totally understood. So there's like no scary dudes in hockey masks and running a whole bunch
He looks,
of
when you say scary dudes in hockey
riders.
masks, he kind of gives you a really, like, he definitely turns his head to one side and looks at you side-eyed, like, what are you smoking and how much did it cost? He doesn't actually say that, but he's giving you that look.
Right. So, like, and I'm just going to mention that Backwoods, Innsbruck,
Yes,
gangs,
yes. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that plastic blue, not to be confused with crystal blue.
Yeah, actually, not even that drugs. It's more along the lines of crazy people in cars with guns and flames and guitars.
Oh, that one. Spray painting silver onto their faces. Got it.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that was all about. That shit was just weird. Yeah, so he kind of does one of those, like, he kind of moves stuff around on the table, and he pulls out this, like, a couple of sheets of paper, and he sticks them together so you have something of a map. And he does like a real quick basic sketch, and he's like, all right, listen, here's New Middlesex, draws a circle. Here's Bayview, draws another circle. Does something of a not quite straight line with a couple of noticeable turns. And here's the road that we're going to be on. There's a town here, he marks it. There's another town here. They're about 3-ish, maybe 4 hours apart. So we'll leave it. So this is what I'm thinking. You guys can get the vehicles, get them set up, and have them here on the starport by, like, I don't know, 9 o'clock. A lot of shops here open up around 7 for some strange reason, because GM just makes shit up as it goes sometimes. A lot of shops open up around 7. You could probably get something and get the paperwork filled out and get the vehicles over here, get staged by, 9 o'clock. While you guys are doing that, I can bring my trucks up and have the rest of your crew start getting the cargo offloaded and secured onto the trucks. If we hit the road at 9, drive for about 3 or 4 hours, we'll take an hour break, we'll drive for another 3 or 4 hours, take another hour break, and drive for another 3 or 4 hours, and then we're done. A lot of driving, a lot of open country, a little bit of hills, some woods. No grandmother's houses, because I feel like that fable's still around. But, with any luck, we drive for 10 hours and nothing happens. And he knocks on the tabletop surface when he says that.
Is that a thing you do here? You knock on tables?
It's not really wood. It's an old expression. Have you heard it? Knock on wood. You actually knock on a piece of wood for good luck when you say something that might go bad.
I grew up on Space Station, the Barnard Star. What?
That's okay. Nope, I can see where you would not understand that. I apologize. No, that's a thing that some people do. It's kind of an old rustic thing.
You knock on.
Yeah, when you say so, like God willing, we make this trip, nothing happens. Knock on wood. Tap, tap, tap.
What the hell does that do?
I mean, I bet you. You know what? You grew up in space, so you probably wouldn't know about throwing salt over your shoulder either, huh?
No, that just makes a mess.
Yeah, I could imagine.
What? These are dirt side things. Just like you guys do weird things with like spacesuits and balloons and whatever.
And droplets of water. I bet you they do something with droplets of water.
Yeah. So I'll just because I want to run with this motif for a second. I'm gonna go. All right, that's cool. Is there any place I can go shop for some clothes real quick? Just because I feel like I'm a little underdressed for the adventure to go into. I feel like I need to get some all black leather to make this drive, and maybe get myself
maybe get some spiked shoulder pads.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, hits up at Bass Pro Fishing and just starts getting stuff.
No, it's not Bass Pro Fishing. Oh God, hold on a second. I'm trying to think. It's Spencer's Fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pro gifts for all the reader stuff.
Yeah, no, it like legit. There's a whole country hunting and fishing themed part of it, but there's everything else is like there's a actually much larger selection of all of this, but in goth.
Anyhow, yeah, I'm okay to drive. Yeah, I guess this is gonna be fun and adventure. I can't wait to do this. This is
Yeah.
So-
yeah. Okay. Cool.
So
So
what
while
he's
this is
looking for. I'm
happening,
sorry. Go ahead.
So while this is happening, Wyatt will send a text message to his wife.
Uh-huh.
Hey, can you go into town and get where you need her to make some thermite?
What the hell would you need to make thermite? I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I want to
Oh,
Google that.
it's whatever. You're already on the list.
Probably am.
Thermite is chemically very simple. It's mostly aluminum dust.
Okay. Which I believe is incredibly reactive to something really simple like water or something.
Kind of.
Thermite is not a complex chemical reaction, but man, is it really good for ruining guns.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You get a message back from Alia. Are we going with Alia or Alicia? I've been going with Alia this whole time.
Yeah, sounds fine. I'll probably never remember.
God, I feel like I've asked that a few times, and I actually don't remember the last time I asked and what the answer was. At any rate, you get a response. You're like, yeah, actually, I kind of need to go into town and grab something anyways. So, yeah. Anything else you need?
A boss that doesn't fuck me over.
I will see what I can do. You know, Tankerson's really not that bad. I don't know where the fuck up happened with this whole customs thing.
I don't want to be imprisoned again.
I don't either. Although you in chains, winky face.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
I
know how
pulled
much
that off
time
with a
we
straight look until I fucking started thinking about what I had just said.
So enough thermite to ruin all the guns we're carrying per box of them in case.
Oh, you want a lot of thermite to kill
Yeah.
5 tons worth of machine guns and ammo.
Yeah, well, like Jacoby here just tells us that we might get waylaid, and if they're gonna do that,
Waylaid?
then well,
What do you mean waylaid? Are you gonna get shot again?
and
when she texts that, there's like 17. You can count them if you really want to. There's 17 question marks interspersed every so often with an exclamation point.
I don't want to get shot again, but if we get waylaid, I would like to have an insurance on the weapons they're after.
Interesting.
Also, it would be good to have it on hand if we need to destroy our own weapons, so we get less in trouble.
And you see the 3 dots that means she's typing, and then they disappear, and then they start up again, and then they disappear. They start up again, and they disappear, and then finally she's like, "We're gonna talk about this when you come back."
Well, yeah, that's fine, but like, okay.
Thermite, chains, and the thing that I need to get.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You're making her pregnant, aren't you?
What? No, that's her exact response. Is what? Question mark, exclamation
No.
point.
That's why he asked you as a player to the GM.
You're asking out of character?
The bottom of your question, alas, you'll get another sexually active.
Yeah, what about it? Oh,
nothing.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, thermite. Need lots of thermite. They're gonna melt a lot of guns.
Okay. Anything else we want to do with Jacoby? I want to be clear first. Jacoby is expecting 1 vehicle half a click out in front, the 3 trucks, another vehicle half a click behind, and then the other 1 to 3 additional vehicles in close formation around the 3 trucks.
Isn't this something he was supposed to arrange?
It was conveyed somewhere during the conversation that he was only able to acquire the 3 trucks. He was not able to provide enough people and the additional vehicles themselves.
Okay.
Unfortunately. And he cites something like something came up and doesn't really go into any detail about it, and you get the impression that it's something that was out of his control, but he's really not at liberty to mention.
But we can still use Tankerson as a means to acquire these, right? Just like we do with fuel and life support.
Yeah, I feel like that's an arguable state, but yeah, probably, maybe. I mean, you could definitely charge it to his accounts and then be like, oh, well, you didn't tell us we were going to have to do this, and we didn't really want to pony up our own cash. And then Tankerson be like, all right, I guess I'll pay half of that bill. And then you could negotiate from there.
Isn't that what expense reports are for?
Yeah, there's definitely some community. Let me tell you, when there's expense reports and expenses filed and claimed, there's always an open dialogue between the parties involved in order to come to the best possible arrangement, mutually beneficial to all parties. Did not say that staring straight into the camera when I said that. Why are you rolling from my deception?
I won.
Yeah, you did. I was totally bullshitting. I have no idea how that shit works, but I imagine it never goes well for the little guy. All right, we're gonna scoot forward a small bit here, unless there's anything else for Jacoby.
Nope.
I don't think I have anything for him. No.
Okay.
No, I think I'm done.
We finish. You guys finish up your meals. You have some light conversation regarding, some of the particulars about the route. Long and short of it, the route itself is pretty straightforward. It's mostly straight. There's a few curves. There's a few terrain changes. There's a couple of woods, a couple of hills. There's a couple of ridge lines you have to go over. There's some turns, but nothing big. But generally speaking, it's about as straightforward as it looks on the map. And for the camera, let me go ahead and point this out. So get this guy out of the way. So the player is going to be here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The player's going to start here, and they're going to drive about 1,000 kilometers to here. And if you look at it, there's really not a lot, but we're going to imagine there's some hills and some woods. And what's that yellow shit mean? It doesn't specify. Probably
It's a beach.
Beach, desert-ish, maybe? I don't know. Probably not a lot of that. But yeah, it's 1,000 kilometers of that. There have been, obviously, the reports of basically banditry along the roads, potentially involving false barricades and false rerouting of the road for traffic, leading to where people come out and be like, all right, the toll is like 100 credits. Oh, you don't want to pay us? Well, you can't go. You have to turn around. Or in some cases, very recently, within the last 3 to 4 weeks, there have been a couple of gunfights. Law enforcement has not been able to do a whole lot about it because it's not always in the same stretch of road either, but it's always secluded. It's always a minimum of about an hour to 2 hours away from anything nearby, and nobody has been able to get valid orbital surveillance or anything of that nature. And the military is far too busy posturing against each other because the French and British, especially with the Empire of Mankind of late, the French and British are posturing against each other for some strange reason. And the Germans are clear on the other side of the planet, and they're kind of like, yeah, that sounds like a you problem to me, buddy. We fast forward a slight bit. Wyatt is returning to the ship, returning to his quarters, and as the camera fades out, we see Mr. Wyatt entering the personal quarters that he and Mrs. Wyatt share. And the door closes behind him. The camera follows him. He goes towards the back of their... I don't have the floor plan open. I imagine some of these staterooms have a shared bathroom, or excuse me, the restroom facilities. And anyway, I'm rambling. Let me get focused. We see Wyatt return to his quarters. Mrs. Wyatt is in the bathroom, and we hear the sounds of her getting sick.
Oh no!
I called it.
Yeah. You mentioned something, indeed.
Worse when it's in 0G because it's way harder to aim.
It's way harder to clean up too. Unless you can get it all in one fell swoop as it comes out, it's fucking difficult. So in the interest of ending a little bit early, we're gonna leave it there. When we return next week, are we good for next week? First off, Wiggles, Charles, Thurgor, are we good? Most likely.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
Thurgor
gonna
is.
say yes. Yeah.
But let us know. Obviously, anybody, but especially Thurgor, who's going to be out of town. Let us know if we can't. We'll adjust as needed. But when we return next week, we will look at acquiring vehicles for this trip and starting the trip and whatever may happen after that, which may or may not include bullets and things moving at very high speeds across limited distance. let's get some feedback for tonight, starting with potentially Mr. Daddy Wiggles.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, that does not taste surprising. It's fine. It was a fun session. It was a good session. Dave Sincere thought about trying to clock the inspector guy in the head and put him in a box, but I don't have any melee
Put him
skills,
in
so
a
that was probably
box.
unwise.
He said, "Put him in a box."
Don't give him
But not
ideas.
kill him, just detain him until we're done.
Hey, listen,
So
put him
at
in a box
worst,
has
it's
multiple meanings.
just kidnapping, which is a lesser crime than
Is it though?
Yeah, yes, it is.
I mean, they're
Then
both
murder? Of
felony.
course it is.
No, kidnapping
Yeah.
is still a felony. I'm pretty sure that's in the Constitution.
But there was some confusion.
He fell down and collapsed in our ship due to getting his head whammied, and we took care of him, and it
Head
took 3 days for him to
whammy.
recover.
I mean, it's not his fault. He just chose to sit in the front seat of a Lincoln Continental while the rest was cut in the back seat.
I wish he took the $100,000
When you said that, it's like, as a ha 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 funny joke, what would happen if you found $100,000 in your pocket all of a sudden? How would that make you feel? I'm like, wow, that was bold. That was fucking bold. Your first move.
I'd have started with one less zero, but
He's like, wow, that's a machine gun barrel. How's $100,000 feel?
as a joke, it would be hilarious if you got $100,000.
And he just straight up just shoots you down or shuts you down. He's like, I'm going to pretend you did not try to make that stupid ass joke. I did not initially, for the record, intend for Anders to be quite that much of a dick. But I did have one line in his little description I gave him, which was, let me see if I can find it real quick. Only cracking skulls if really necessary, but if skull cracking is needed, best to go all in. And he didn't actually go to the physical part of that, but he definitely had to be like, no, shut up, sit down, sip on your sippy juice, and we'll come back to you in a minute. You got anything else, Wiggles?
That's all.
Charles, what do you got?
I got that I'm going to be just called Mad Hellwig as we go driving through.
Mad Fritz.
Mad Fritz, yeah.
It
I
fits
don't
too
know
because Fritz was a cop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just hasn't gone to the
To the dark side.
on the dark side. So yeah, it's good. This is good. Thank God that we had nobody die so far yet.
Knock on
But
wood.
it's the seasonal ending coming soon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Pass it off.
All right, third order. What do you got for me, my friend?
So
This is where I, as a GM, get shredded.
no. We haven't had the best run of luck with patrons or whatnot. That's obvious.
Oh, wait until you get to the other side of all this, and you actually sit down with Tankerson for that conversation.
Oh,
Right.
that's gonna be awesome.
But see, here's the deal with that. It was in the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the specification was that person had to be there to receive, and he was not.
Mm-hmm.
So when I asked if it was all legit, and he told me yes,
Mm-hmm.
he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Technically,
Mm-hmm.
so
From
we
a
can't
certain
really
point of
be
view.
right. We can't really. We definitely can't prove that it was done with ill intent or anything like that. It was all on the paperwork, and he's going to say, "Well, didn't you look at the paperwork?" And we're going to go, "Fuck no, we don't look at paperwork."
And then he's gonna go, and then what he's going to say is lesson number 1:
Exactly.
read the goddamn
So-
fine print.
Right. So, we're used to doing speculative trading and not hauling somebody else's cargo. So we're going to have to think of some better procedures and all that kind of stuff if we're going to take anybody
saying
else's
things
cargo
like-
anywhere.
Like saying things like, GM, I'm going to read every fucking line. Is there anything that stands out that seems odd? I don't know. Roll recon.
See, we just need to appoint somebody to be the cargo manager, and it needs to be an NPC.
That way,
So
yeah,
it can just
because
be
that way I can
hand
just
wave
come
that
to
it
you and
got
be like,
done.
yeah, that way I can just come to you and be like, hey, Mr. Milligan, so I was reviewing the paperwork for this manifest, and the manifest is
Mhm.
fine, but it's the appendices that I have a problem with.
Right. So anyway, what we had to get into tonight was pretty detailed, and that always takes longer. So I always like to see us progress, but we covered everything in the detail it needed to be covered in, and I think we did a good job. So we're
And
not
it all
arrested.
took
Yay.
it all took a handful of dice rolls to go to shit, too. I
Mhm.
forgot to add, when I prepped this, I mentioned this earlier, when I prepped this episode, I forgot to add the custom scene that I kind of needed for this particular story that I was trying to tell. And it's like, fuck. All right, well, I'll just do it. I rolled a 1d6. I think that was when I rolled a 4, so that gives a +2 modifier because I do 1d3 to see what kind of generic modifier might be in play for an NPC making a basic skill roll. And I rolled a 6 or a 7, so I was like, well, that's an 8+ right there. So that means they did indeed find, when they do this customs inspection, they're going to find the guns that nobody has heard a fucking thing about in 3 or 4 episodes now. In your defense, I definitely did kind of intend for it to be set up that way for that. Unless you guys very specifically did very specific things, you would not realize there were guns. If you had decided to open the cans and dig into the crates, you would have found the guns. I'd had no way to hide it at that point. And there was a couple other things you might have been able to do that I can't think of off the top of my head. But the customs inspection itself, I kind of winged that one, and it just went right into place. And I was like, yep, that's awesome, because now I don't have to explain what happens when the cargo's destroyed later.
Yeah, because if it hadn't come out in that little meeting with him,
Mm-hmm.
I made at least one decent roll there. I was going to say, just take it all. The cargo, the ship, just take it all. Let us go.
Yeah.
We'll go fly back on another ship.
We'll go fly fucking Delta Galaxy fucking stars or something. I don't know.
Yeah. At this point, it's their own fault for the dude
We'll
not being
join
there and everything
United
else.
Express Planets.
United Express Planets. There you go. I was trying to make a Delta and American Airlines references, but I couldn't quite pull it off without actually using those words. All right. Has anybody got anything else before we wrap it up for the night?
That's it for me.
I'm good.
All right. Well, my friends, a little early, but I feel like not only was that a good spot to stop, that gives me a little bit more wiggle time for this evening for the things I have to do here at home. So, with that, we are out of here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you have, please consider joining Discord. Please consider smashing all the like and subscribe buttons. If you're watching live on the stream, of course, exclamation Discord. And if you're watching on YouTube, in the description for this video is the link to join the Discord. So please stop on by, come down, talk shit, talk shop, talk whatever, and hang out with us and tell us what you think. And we'll tell you how you're probably right. And we're definitely wrong. Or at least I am. I don't know. Let's see. What else we got going on this week? We got tomorrow night, unless something comes up, like it did last time, we have the Greyland Trios League Week 8 doubleheader NPC matches that I'll be streaming tomorrow night at our normal 7 p.m. Pacific time. The videos from those 2 matches will probably go out. One video will go live once it finishes uploading tomorrow night, and then the following match will go live on YouTube on Friday morning. Most likely, unless I change my mind or something silly. But other than that, my friends, stay safe out there. This world is a dark and crazy place, so make sure you're doing what you got to do. Take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we are out of here. And we will see you again next time. Stay safe, my friends.